including the winner, whose resemblance was uncanny.
That is the same actor for Colonel Sanders in the 1990s commercial for the Star Wars Episode 1 release. Colonel Harlan Sanders was my 3rd great uncle, and he was the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and obviously the face of the brand for a long time, even to today, with their caricatures and depictions of him, although they have some poor representation of him today. Uncle Harley, who's the Colonel, died in 1980 at the age of 90. He did not get to see the 90s era. He didn't even get to see the 80s because he died. He had about a year in the 80s. Almost. He died in December of 1980. My uncle Jim Sanders, James Wilbur Sanders, was a Kentucky colonel, and he was a franchisee of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they had him play the colonel for their commercials and for their advertising outside of commercials like grand openings and events. Uncle Jim died in 1989. And Uncle Jim was the last Sanders and the last member of the Colonel's family to represent the Colonel, his values, and the legacy in the advertisements and as the spokesperson. After Uncle Jim died, they hired this guy, I don't know his name, but they hired him to portray the Colonel in the 1990s ads. And I will say, he doesn't sound anything like Uncle Harley. I heard him in this video here that I'm stitching. But he didn't disrespect Uncle Harley's image. And with today's advertising, I mean, they've turned him into a stripper. They've portrayed him as a moron. They portrayed him as several different things that he was not. Canada is doing the same thing today, just without the stripper part. Thank the Lord that they haven't gone that far yet. But the 90s was a time where they were experimenting, since the Sanders were now out of the company, and they didn't know anyone else with the Colonel title and the last name Sanders, although Jim's brother, my great-grandfather Charles Sanders, was a Kentucky colonel in the Sanders. But they didn't know that. They just knew Jim. They started experimenting with bringing on lookalikes and a cartoon caricature and so many different things, trying to see how they could keep Uncle Harley's image alive as their spokesperson, since they've now lost the original and the nephew.